How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today got a bit of a chilled mission. We're going to go out with the Tatrin and the P16. First thing I'm going to go and do is this mission called A Picture to Remember. You've got to drive down here near to the lake, really, where you grab the plane parts. Some guy is apparently going to pay me over £5 to go and drive around here and take pictures that he might show his kids one day. Sounds a bit suspicious, if you ask me, but as long as the checks don't bounce, we're all good. Although it'd be nice if the XP actually counted for something, or I'll tell you what would be quite nice, I suppose, as a trade-off. Once you're at level 30, any XP you get should be converted into money, but probably not like $1 per XP, because that wouldn't really help a lot. Say $10 per XP would be pretty cool. I mean, I think you get like 450 XP for doing this mission. It'd be an extra £4.5 grand. It'd certainly boost things up a little bit, which would be pretty nice. Yeah, once you got to level 30, there's chances are, well, you've obviously unlocked everything, but now you just need to earn enough money to buy some things. I've still not quite got all the trucks yet. I'm not too far off, though. I've not got that many left to get now, if I'm honest. If I carried on doing contests at the same rate, I probably could get them all, but yeah, that TUZ bumper duplication thing has helped quite a lot as well, if I'm honest. Yeah, anyway, like I said, I've been bringing out the Tatrin. I've not been using it loads, because it is a little bit slow for me, but in this map, or on this map particularly, Imandra, yeah, it's a bit of a troll in most areas, whereas this Tatrin actually does rip along pretty nicely. It kind of shows you on this map. I mean, taking this Tatrin out, and I'll be taking the P16 out pretty soon. Yeah, heavier vehicles definitely dominate on this map. Just for whatever reason, the game, yeah, obviously like lighter things way less, but I think the lighter end of vehicles are a bit too light. So funny enough, that's probably one reason I do like the Loaf though, because for a small vehicle, it has got like a decent bit of weight to it. Like, it doesn't float in the water and that, which personally I prefer. There's the odd rare situation where floating in the water is funny, like cutting across that the sea in White Valley. It's quite handy that the Voron Grad, like the nose of it floats and stuff, but generally speaking, I'd rather vehicles didn't float, because yeah, it just takes all the weight off their wheels, and then grip becomes a bit of an issue. But yeah, this Tatrin though, it's very nicely weighted low down, so it's definitely rollable. It's a little bit of a troll as far as rolling goes. Like, I wouldn't say it's easy to roll, but you can clip one of the wheels on like not a massive rock as you're driving past, and it can flick you over. But yeah, this thing is sort of weighted a bit like a Weevil Wobble, so unless you kind of get unlucky and just roll neatly onto your roof and wedge up against something, it tends to try and roll back to its wheels, or at least enough that you can fling the winch out. See again, those bloody poles across the road absolutely delete me. That's obviously the chassis of the last truck that attempted it. But yeah, if I could change anything about the Tatrin, I think the two main things I would change is I'd like a higher top speed. I think that'd definitely be pretty good. And the roof rack, I think, should be more than 150 points. I mean, again, that's another reason why I do prefer to take the Loaf. It's one of the scout vehicles that has 300 points. I'm sure somebody was saying the other day, might be the Don 71, one of them, or the TUZ 166 has got 300 repair points, I believe, on the roof, which is pretty good for, yeah, they're not the biggest of vehicles, those things. Someone was saying as well, and I do agree with this definitely, not just with the Tatrin, I think, or the P16 as well, they need to add chained tyres for every vehicle. Because what I was actually going to do tonight, there was a couple of missions I was looking at. Well, there was a couple I ended up doing. One was to go and check the cargo ship, which is kind of, if you're looking at the map in the normal rotation, it's kind of on the right of the screen, along where that icy road is. And yeah, I was going to take the Tatrin, and then I realised there's that like little rock gully on the way that's like a bit of a steep hill you got to drive up. That's just, yeah, pure rocks. Sorry, not pure rocks, like pure ice. It looks like a rocky area, but it's really slippy. So I could possibly winch to the trees and get up there, but yeah, I didn't take the Tatrin to do that. Then I was going to go and do the mission on here called Lost Cargo, which is kind of near to where I'm headed now. There's a little road, like, just sort of behind you. It goes up a steep hill, though, and either side, again, is kind of fenced off by this little icy gully that you just unless you've got something with chained on, it's not really having it. And like I say, not just this Tatran, I believe someone actually said it about the P16, if that had chained. But yeah, all the vehicles really that can't have chain, they need some, or they need to allow muds to grip a little bit on some of this slippy ice, because it does get yeah, gets a little bit trollish when you can't get up this like little bloody hill. But for everything else, or mostly 95% of things, the Tatran does just kind of, yeah, one speed fits all. It's pretty nice when you haven't got time for the well, you can't be bothered with all the intricacies of clawing your way through mud and snow and everything. The Tatran definitely reduces the effects of the terrain in most situations, and you can just kind of motor along and head where you want to head. Apologies, there's a little glitch going on there. One day I might actually get a bit of footage. They're only like little second or two glitches, but for some reason it just randomly dots them throughout the footage. There's not really a lot I can do about it. See, to the right of me now is basically where that, like, the lost cargo trailer is, which, yeah, again, I can't really do with a Tatran. So I've got here this time. Obviously I brought this loaf for me. I've just switched to a different bit of footage, just in case you're wondering why the loaf just changed from yellow to green. I came here the first time and I've already completed this mission. To be honest, especially with the Tatran, this was like a very easy mission, because the drive here was kind of inevitably easy. And yeah, once you get it, you've just got to do a lap of this like abandoned village. And I've also done a few laps of this in the loaf with the mud tyres and the chain tyres, and the loaf is possibly even quicker around here. In fact, looking at it now, I'd definitely say it is quicker around here than the Tatran. But it's not really as boggy as you think doing a lap of this. Little patches like there, you can kind of see where it looks like wetter mud. As long as you like just skirt along the side of that, really. With a loaf and, yeah, a few other things, it flies along there pretty well. As you can see though, it's basically just 3 checkpoints I've got to get on my way around here. First one was on the other side. I just cut across in the snow a bit there to get the second one. And then, yeah, the last one's down here, so nothing too crazy. I'd like to listen out more on this map as well, because I'll show you near the end. Like, there's a little section with a loaf just flying through some of the the snowy roads, just to show you like it was doing pretty nice, because I was mentioning it the other day versus the Apache. Yeah, I'm sure like you can hear something like a Bigfoot or a Yeti kind of scream near the end of the video. Not scream, I mean, it's not loud. You probably don't notice it a lot, because most of the time I'm driving around with the engine running. Yeah, so that's the mission done though. Like, not bad money, not bad XP, all things considered. This is just one of the little laps with the loaf, but I got a bit distracted. Realised I could destroy a lot of this fence, so it's like, yes, start going in with a horn. I mean, look at it, like a goddamn scene from the Matrix. Starting to be loaf. So yeah, I got completely sidetracked then, just started trying to destroy fences instead of doing a nice little hot lap. But as you can see though, the loaf's ticking along pretty nicely. That's probably one of the slower sections as well. And yeah, next up is P16. Again, just going for a little cruise with this. I actually didn't really have anything in mind for that, or not a proper mission. Down at the other side of the map, we're basically going to drive across the map in this. Of course, I couldn't go anywhere without a goddamn horse or a vehicle. I even forgot to grab one with a roof rack on it. But there is another reason I wanted a loaf to take with me. I'm basically going to drive all the way down to that lake where you get the plane parts out of, and kind of up the hill on the other side there's a mission. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. I think it's something to do with geology. Yeah, I hadn't collected it yet on the first lap round, so I couldn't just select it whenever I liked, so that was sort of the ulterior motive of going for a little drive with the P16. I wanted to send the loaf off and grab that mission. And yeah, it's when I go and grab that mission, I'm not sure if it shows up better in those mountains, but yeah, near the end you can hear like kind of a Yeti roar across, like, sounds like in the background, and then you hear it kind of do a load of little grunting noises. So I wonder if that's an Easter egg in itself, or if they're ever going to try and troll us one day and slip like a little Yeah, it'd be pretty funny if you just sort of caught out the corner of your eye some Yeti walking along in the trees in the background. I like trying to freak myself out a bit. I was watching, what film did I watch earlier? The Nun. I don't know if anyone's seen it. It was a bit crap, to be honest. I think it was trying too hard to be a scary film. It just had a lot of cliche, like, it was trying to jump scare things. And, I don't know, the Nun was roaring a bit. I mean, yeah, it's pretty forgettable. Wow. I might Google church porn later, we'll see. I'm joking, of course. What kind of religious porn do I like? Fucking none. It's pretty handy when the answer is the same as denial. Anyway, even motoring like the P16 through there. Like I say, I think this is a pretty underestimated truck. I mean, goddamn beast of a horn. I will be pressing that intermittently throughout the mission. Yeah, considering it's not all-wheel drive, you certainly would assume, oh god, it's going to struggle on a lot of bits, but because this thing has just got so much weight to it, it plants itself down in the ground very well. Yeah, it just keeps going, like under a lot of situations really. This thing was not far off. It's similar to the Tatrin driving down here. Probably pretty similar times all in all as well. I mean, of course, as far as pulling the loaf goes, this thing doesn't even notice it's going on. I kind of wish they added a few special objective trailers on this mission, because I didn't really, by the time I found the P16, I'd already done, I think, most of the trailers anyway. I ended up doing, I think, one full mission with this special objective trailers with the P16, and it was great. This thing was absolutely smashing that thing along behind me, over bumps, through trees, like smashing it along bridges. Wherever I was going, it was coming with me, and it didn't really have a choice in the situation. It's weird with that, like, that icy muddy bit I've just cut through. Everything seems to struggle on the little road leading out of it worse than the actual icy bit itself. But yeah, we're back here, back to the telegraph poles laying along the floor that try and delete you when you're going a few miles an hour. This is probably where I should have brought a loaf with a roof rack maybe, or I should have just brought two loafs. Should have hooked one over the back of the P16. I believe actually the reason I didn't bring a roof rack for this one is again because I wanted to drive up in the mountains and grab that mission. Yeah, the loaf travels nicer without a roof rack. But they're certainly handy. I mean, as you've seen, it's a pretty common use for me. Use the loaf like a backpack. Stick them on with a roof rack, take them wherever you go. It's like a roof rack for trucks. And as you can see, that pole absolutely deletes me again, nails one of my tyres. But to be fair, the P16 just keeps motoring along. The loaf has a little bit of fun. He's soon back on his wheels and we're good to go. So that's probably the area the P16 does struggle with at the minute. That's where I was saying the other day. I'm not saying this needs it, like all-wheel drive, because I think it's a pretty bloody well-balanced truck as it is. That said, if I'm honest, I wouldn't say no to all-wheel drive, because, yeah, now they're adding more maps like, you know, Lake Cobden, this map, especially on this map, that they like to scatter a lot of rocks around the place to catch you out. Yeah, if you get your front tyres kind of jammed up against some rocks, you need them clawing at the rocks themselves, really, rather than just... Even though this thing's got a lot of muscle to push from the back, there's a whole lot of front end to lift. Oh yeah, I remember that. I honestly have no idea what I was caught on there. Maybe there was like a tree branch thing underground, but I couldn't really see anything I was stuck on. I certainly hit that tree then. But yeah, that's what I mean. It's like there's a lot of front end to try and bump over a rock or something, trying from the back. That's what she said. So even going through this though, this is a pretty trollish bit. This again is that section I really wasn't keen on attempting to bring the plane down here. I believe bringing the plane wings and stuff would probably be pretty decent down there. But the plane itself, I don't really understand. Like, again, somebody was saying earlier, and I agree with them, it's true, like, the missions on this map are just not as well thought out as like the other missions. As they were saying, like the road clearances on this map, you end up clearing two roads that you never really need to use or anything. I don't think there was any bridges to repair on this map, whereas, yeah, by comparison, I think they said Black River, Obviously that had like a collapsed pylon over the road to clear that actually opens up like a different route on the map. 2 bridges to build that actually become usable. I think there's another road blockage as well further up past one of the bridges, which again makes like just an easier cut through than cutting across like a little muddy section. Yeah, with this they kind of, I was saying, I think they got so hyper focused on making this map a trollish difficult map, they kind of then just slap the missions in afterwards, if you know what I mean, whereas some of the other maps feel like they were more tailored to the missions. Like, it felt like the missions not necessarily came first, but at least were like pretty high on the list. This one, yeah, I mean, the main one I suppose with that plane, Star in the Sky, is there actually a route back from where you get the plane to the airport that doesn't involve having to unpack the cargo from the trailer, so the wing of the plane, like the rear wing, can actually make it through the trees? Like, they doesn't seem like they planned that mission out too well. And missions like the one I've just done, that picture to remember one, that's not a bad mission or anything. It's just, it's not a detailed mission, if you know what I mean. You just literally got to drive down there, do a little lap, and you're done. But I suppose some free money and XP. I'm not going to say no. Yeah, this is the lake again that you get all the bits and bobs from. All the plain bits. I tried driving through there earlier. What was I in when I tried driving through there? I can't remember, but I just drowned, like it just wouldn't quite start the engine, so... I mean, I should have tried... Oh no, this was probably, yeah, before I did that, but I might bring the P16 back. And yeah, see if I can drive through the lake, go through the middle. But this is the mission I'll end up having to do, though. You can see where the square where it ends, called New Pool. I've got to go and drag some container, cargo container from somewhere. I believe I've got to grab the cargo container and bring it down here. But that just shows you, though, I mean, the P16, considering the terrain and everything, and the fact that it's not all-wheel drive and I've even burst a tyre, it motored along there pretty nicely, pretty hassle-free. And that is about it for the video. I'll just show you the last one quickly, though, with the loaf, and we'll hear this potential Yeti scream. Yeah, again, the lake's behind me, where I get the plane pieces from. This was just going up further up the mountain, and as I was saying in that Apache review video, that I think the loaf was going along these roads, like, pretty nicely. And I think you'll agree, I mean, it's not doing too bad. Don't get me wrong, if you go into what the game considers like deep snow and super snow, then the loaf does get slowed down quite a bit. Pretty much everything in this map does, really, apart from the really heavy stuff. I was trying the Warthog earlier, but with the muds, I like the muds, but they're just bogged down too much. Anyway, that's about it for today, though. I hope you've enjoyed. Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon. And yeah, let me know if you think this is a Yeti or not. I'll turn the audio off so you can hear it. It's coming up in a second.